Hi there, and welcome to Teen Cooking at the Y. Today, I have Maya to my left, Adoshi to my right, and Riley also to my right. I'm Camden, and today we're going to be making dragon bowls and also sesame crusted tofu. We're going to start off with the dragon bowl. So what you need for this recipe is brown rice, kale, carrots, green onions, and tofu, and then we'll also be making a dressing, so we'll add more ingredients into that. But let's get started with the main ingredients of this bowl. So we need to measure out 1 cup of brown rice. So maybe, we need to cook the rice, which thankfully we've already done. So there are lots of different methods of cooking rice. Today we used a rice cooker, which is super easy. Just put water and rice in a pot and let it heat up. So we already have our rice, which is very convenient. Do you guys use any other forms to make rice?
No, we use a rice cooker.
Rice cooker?
Yeah,
yep.
I use an Instant Pot.
Instant Pot, right? Okay, cool. So we're all on the same terms with this. So maybe we'll move this to the side. And right. So now, okay.
Oh yeah, we have to.
Yep.
It's already been to 3. That's nice.
So tofu is a little bit complicated. It's a little bit scary to think about, but in reality it's very simple. So first what you need to do is take the tofu out of the package. It's wet and gross, so just cut it out and place it on a cutting board, and then from there you'll cut it into smaller slices. So if someone wants to demonstrate cutting it in smaller pieces and just dividing it up so that you have kind of finger-sized chunks, small chunks that will dry out, and they'll look a little bit like the ones that we already have. Perfect. So you're going to want to let the cut pieces of tofu sit on paper towels for about 20 minutes. And just let the paper towels absorb all that moisture before you cook them or put them in a pan, saute them, anything like that. So it looks like we have some pieces that are already ready to be used. So it looks like we could heat the rice up, we'll add the tofu, add some kale. So we can come over here. We need some oil. And
oh, yeah.
Yep.
Right there.
Perfect.
There you go. Oh, there's some oil there.
Okay, we got to be careful with fire over here. So, yeah, Maya, pour in some oil. You can use olive oil, any type of vegetable oil. Yeah, sure. And you can move it around too. Get a little chef action. Perfect.
So some of the other ingredients, in addition to the tofu that are going to be in our dragon bowl, which Camden talked about, are we're going to have kale, carrots, and green onions.
I think we're all in agreement that we're a little bit confused. So before we go any further, we're going to invite Chef Karen to come and help us and guide us, give us some tasks. So without further ado, here she comes, and we'll continue on the dragon bowl and the tofu, but just with a little bit of instruction.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Karen. I work here at Farms at the Y at the CLCY, and I am a home chef. No, I'm a home cook, not a chef, sorry. I'm a home cook, so I have no chef training. I've just learned from my grandmother, so I just continue to encourage other people to cook. So this dragon bowl can be complicated, but there are parts of it that we're going to get through together. So as you said, the brown rice, and then there's kale, carrots, green onions, and tofu. We met earlier, Doshi and Maya, and we talked about maybe doing the tofu first. So with the tofu, it's a Sesame Crusted Tofu. We can get it on their website too if we want. And the biggest part is draining it, right? You were saying that. So this one is tofu from the store, but I also we get to show them, how do you pronounce this again?
I think it was Hewa.
Heiwa.
Hewa.
Heiwa. And it's out of Rockland, so you can look that up if you want. But as you were mentioning, there's a lot of liquid in here, so you would drain off the liquid and then put it on towels. And then Maya, do you think you could coat it with the black sesame seeds? I couldn't find the white ones yesterday.
I think the black ones look better.
Oh, perfect. And then do you mind warming up the pan? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to cook the tofu in some oil, and if you want to add a little oil, you're welcome to do that. But the drained part's up here. So tell me if there's anything else with that. But it's really important to learn how to drain tofu. So you would put it on paper towel, and then once it's drained for 20 minutes or so, then you can put it in the seeds and then in the pan once the pan is heated up. Do you cook with tofu at all?
Yeah, if it's a last minute decision, you can press on it gently with a paper towel, but I think it's easier if you use it ahead of time.
And Riley, do you cook with tofu at all?
Yeah, we cook with a lot of tofu in my house. My mom really likes it because it has a lot of protein, but it's not meat. And so for people trying to have less of an impact on the planet and eat less meat, tofu is a really great alternative. And I think people are often intimidated by it, but it is pretty easy to use once you get the few basics.
Right, and it'll take the flavors of whatever you have. So once you're ready, then you can give it to Camden, and she'll start cooking that. So while we let the tofu cook, I also want to mention you could bake it. So I did earlier today, I took some pieces and I put it in a dish pan and I put it in the oven, and it actually browns nicely. So we'll let them do that. And now, should we get on to the kale and the carrots?
Are we doing all these?
Okay, so Adoshi, can you show them what we did here and maybe move this over?
Yeah, we could just. So you take the little stalk kale. I just put my hand on it and kind of slide it gently to get the leaves off. And where's the compost? Oh, it's over there.
Oh.
And composting is more eco-friendly than just throwing it away. So we have a compost bowl with us.
So this kale is from Twin Village Food Bank Farm, and I can't even tell you how many pounds of kale they must produce or harvest. Do you want to work on chopping it?
Yes.
So it talks for the recipe having 2 cups worth of kale. So Adoshi actually put some together. So Riley, if you don't mind grabbing that, she can add to that. And I love you're holding your hand, your bear claws back. And I love, Riley, the feel.
It feels different than from places far away. The local stuff is so delicious.
Yeah, so it's nutritionally dense, and then you're not, from a climate action, right? You're not spending money on petrol for having, because if you think about it, kale, lettuce, spinach, they're probably 95% water, and the rest is nutrients. And each vegetable, you're really rehydrating yourself every time you eat it. Would you like to show the carrots next?
Oh.
Here are your carrots.
Should I do the wet one?
I would maybe, should we just let it drain and?
Yeah.
So, that's the
Maybe you could turn around and just quickly wash that. And Riley, should we get this just cleaned off for her? So we have our tofu cooking, our rice is already cooked, and then we have our cut up kale, and then she's gonna just be using a box grater here.
I really hope I'm using the right side. I don't grate stuff much.
Do you grate?
Sometimes. Yep, that's usually my job in the kitchen. It's like very small tasks. Like, yep.
What about you, Maya?
I don't really grate much at home, but I do it a lot with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, and sometimes we pull out the food processor. Actually, I have it in the back because we grated up the carrots. Riley can show you. The recipe calls for just two medium carrots, but I did make you guys more in case you wanted that. So we have kale, carrots. So now, oh, and Maya, would you like to introduce, what was this that you worked on?
Oh, there's already ready. Oh, that's nice.
I don't remember the name, but
This was your scallions?
yes.
Yep.
And there's my
Oh, I think I took your knife, but maybe we can.
Here, actually, can I use the small one? For you. Thank
I
you.
know, that knife is huge.
And do you want to talk about what you did earlier or what you're doing now?
So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting off the ends. Let me show it up. So I'm cutting off the ends right here. And then I'm gonna cut it into very small pieces.
Stop there.
Great.
Great.
Oh, yeah, great for grater. Okay, so as Maya's cutting, I try to make sure not to put my hands with the knife, but she'll take the piece that goes to the compost.
Yep.
And then if it's okay with Camden, the second pan we can start heating up with a little olive oil. And here is a spatula. I don't know, are you okay, Riley, to come on over? And so the scallions can be added, and so we can start, oh, careful.
Yep, I'm okay.
Yep, be super careful. So we have the scallions, the carrots, the kale, and what did we have here today? You want to talk about that?
Oh my gosh.
A watermelon.
These are really precious. Watermelon radishes. Could I just cut it?
Sure. You can move that out of your way.
Put it in half. They're called watermelon radishes because they look like a watermelon with like the green and white
You
outside.
can show it right here, maybe.
And the little
You can give
purpley
that to her.
reddish, I guess, center. So I assume we're just gonna need more of these. God.
So we grated some. Why don't you grate some right now too? We'll move your knife over and. Okay, so Riley is going to start sauteing the scallions, or the, what do we call them? The onions,
How
right?
many of them?
How about all of them?
All right.
And then I think you should decide how much you want of the carrots. Should I hand it to you?
Sure.
Okay, excuse me. Sorry.
No worries.
How much do you think we should put in, Maya? Maybe like a couple handfuls.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it adds color.
So one.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe a little bit more.
Big handful.
Like that much?
There.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
And now, Maya, would you like to add some watermelon radishes? That'll add color. Look at all. So it's so important to eat, as they say, the rainbow. But all the nutrients in your vegetables.
Wow. And how long should we be cooking this?
I think when that turns brown.
Brown? Okay.
Sometimes I'm really tricky and I do all sides.
Right.
Do you do that, Riley? Where, Look how colorful that is.
It does look colorful.
You want to put some kale in too?
I'm not.
Yeah, we could give her the rest of
A
that
couple
too.
big handfuls.
One.
Nice.
And the recipe actually calls for 2 cups of kale. But the great thing about cooking is you can be as creative as you want to have as much or little, right? We do that at the Farm's Kitchen. Great, so we have our tofu cooking, our vegetables cooking, our rice is made, and so in a few minutes when we're done with that, in a few minutes we will do the dressing. I have the dressing.
Perfect.
The other thing just to mention is cleaning as you go. It's a little trickier when you are on television. Actually, you could, because let's talk about the dressing. Ginger. There are lots of benefits of ginger. I think, again, anti-inflammatory, as with beets, which we'll get to later. But do you want to hold this and talk about what it feels like?
It feels like really waxy skin and like kind of wrinkly, but a little warm.
Oh, very
Really nice.
interesting. Wow. Oh, boom, sorry.
And it looks like a little cactus.
Yeah, I was gonna
It
say
does.
it looks like a brown cactus with
So-
prickles.
So one thing that I do is this recipe for the dressing, it's a sesame ginger dressing. I like to have all my ingredients. So the ingredients would be sesame seeds, which again, today we have the black ones, ginger, olive oil, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and black pepper. And so the first thing I like to do is look at this, and I usually split it in half. And then, oh, look at this. Do you want to split that in half? Break it in half, yep. There you go.
Really easily.
And so let's say we're going to use one piece. I don't know, have you seen this trick of you take the back of a spoon? Have you done this?
I haven't seen this before.
You
Oh
take
my
the
God.
back of the spoon and it takes off the outside.
That's
So,
Like a peeler.
yeah, so I can have you work on that. So what you do is you take the back of the spoon, you peel it off, and then you would mince it or grate it. And so you could actually grate it on there. So if you want to work on that,
Okay, should I just continue like peeling?
sure.
So like,
It's a feel. Have you tried it before?
I have never seen that trick, but makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Or we could take out a peeler. Do you want to try a peeler?
yeah, sure.
Whoa, here you go. You want to try a peeler? So it would be this way. And peel away from you. That seems to be working a lot better.
Yes, it does.
Ooh, look
Oh,
at your
it smells through my
vegetable.
mask. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a very like comforting smell.
Oh, I love that. That's really important about food. I think food tells stories, and you can think about your traditions, your holidays. You can think about who gathers around your table. Okay, so let's say we're pretty much done with that for a minute. So let's say she has these pieces, and because of time, I'm just going to cut off this piece, and I'm going to cut off this piece. And now she has the ginger all set, and then I like to clear my cutting board, and then I think you could try this side of it.
I think so.
Why don't you try that? Okay, so now let's pull out a measuring cup. And I'm pretty sure the sesame seeds, you need tablespoons. So we'll have Maya here, 4 tablespoons, and you can put it right in there.
Oh, it's on the other side.
Oh,
Let's just grill this off.
I opened it, yeah. How's everything looking so far?
Pretty good. It's definitely browning, so.
Yay.
4.
Yes, 4 right there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, and then it calls for 6 tablespoons of olive oil.
Yeah.
Now, we can have you do it that way. Usually, I'm on the spot right now, but is it 3 or 4 tablespoons to a quarter of a cup?
I think it's 4.
4, so it would be a quarter of a cup plus 2, or, but do you want to do it this way, or do you want to?
Here, or
What do you think? That's a third. I don't have everything right. Oh, that's a third too.
let's just do it with
We'll do
this
it here. Yikes. And then once she's done, so you're going to do 6 tablespoons right on top of it. If it spills, that's okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Executive decision.
That's great.
6.
Excellent. And now you need 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar and 2 tablespoons of the tamari.
Do these. Oh, that does not smell good.
Can you finish this?
1,
Oh.
I'm gonna like grate my
Oh,
finger.
no problem. Ooh.
2 of these. Great. 2.
Yep, 2. And then
2.
pepper.
And what was the other one? Pepper.
I think the pepper is behind us. If we could get the pepper.
In the thing. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you very much. And you can just, sometimes I just go like that for the pepper.
Top part.
Nice.
Yes, it is.
More.
Sure. Okay, so the name of the dressing, I didn't say, is sesame ginger. We have some ginger. I think we could just push it in like that. Would that work?
Let me do that.
La 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 la.
You want me to-
Maybe is there any on the inside?
And then basically what it
right.
what it says is that you
yeah.
would blend it in the food processor. So I'm not going to pull it out right now, but I am going to show you the finished product.
Wow.
It's really nice. We tasted it, some of us,
It's delicious.
and that's going to go on top. Okay, so we have cleaned up a little bit. It's really important as you cook to clean up. Everyone loves people that cleans and washes dishes so that kitchen's ready for next time. We're gonna have Doshi and Maya take a spoon and start serving themselves. So basically you have your brown rice, your vegetables, your protein, which in this case is tofu, and then your dressing. And if you guys want to talk about any of this,
So Cameron and I were just talking about the fact that with the kale, we added a little bit more in about halfway through because when you're cooking a big leafy green like that, they really tend to shrink down. So it's the same thing with spinach and kale and other types of greens like that, that often you need more than you expect because it tends to shrink down when you're cooking.
Yep. Yeah, and the tofu, watch out guys, it is literally, it's still bubbling on the pan, so I would let that cool for a few seconds just as a warning, but I'm very excited to try the sesame seeds on top of the tofu. Usually I would just have it seared in a pan and add it to a dish, but I'm excited to have a little bit of flavor with it.
And all these great colors.
Yeah.
right here.
Colorful.
I know the raspberry, no,
Watermelon.
watermelon.
Watermelon radishes.
Watermelon radish.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Raspberry radishes.
No.
And so you can be creative and change a power bowl any way you want. You could use different vegetables. You could use a chicken. You could use fish. That would be tasty. But here we are. Try some.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay.
Delicious.
That is good.
Look at that. It's so beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for cooking and helping us make a recipe come together.
Yeah, thanks for letting us use your kitchen.
So, how is it?
It's really good. It would taste really good in a bento, cold, like sitting in the fridge overnight.
Great. That's wonderful. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And hopefully come back to our kitchen. Thank you so much.